Hello and welcome to Educated STEM. I'm Kate, the founder of Educated STEM, and today we're going to continue the series on how to be successful in graduate school, and we're going to tackle a really key one: how to write successful fellowships or grant applications. Now, you might not need to do this. It might not be an expectation of your mentor. However, I want to encourage you to consider doing this. It is a very good exercise because you'll learn more about your subject. You will enhance your writing skills because each grant or fellowship application will be relatively short. So you're going to need to be concise. You're going to need to be able to explain your ideas in a very quick way, in a very easily understood way, and that will absolutely benefit you in the future. So it will also help you because if you can have on your CV that you received one of these awards, then obviously that is a huge feather in your cap. This isn't something that the majority of students achieve. So if you get it, that just kind of puts you above the majority of people. And if you want to go through the academic pipeline, potentially to become, a teaching professor or research professor, then basically funding gets more funding. So if you can show that you've had a history of getting money, that you have done the research well, and maybe you've got it continued, then it just becomes a little easier to get more money. So the earlier you can start this process, the better. But these skills are vital regardless of whether you want to be in academia or not. Are you a good communicator? Can you write clearly? Can you do a budget? All of these things would be beneficial outside of academia if that's something that you want to consider. So yes, writing one of these applications is going to take some time, it's going to take some effort. And if you get the award, that's fantastic. What are the downsides? Because this isn't covered a lot, but there are some surprising issues that can come up. So fantastic, you might have been given the award. If they want to pay you directly, then that might become a problem with the fact that the school might then not see you in a graduate student category. That might not feel like a big deal, but it is a huge deal when it comes to your health benefits because you need them, they promised you them. I've seen graduate students and postdocs who've lost their benefits because of the way that they are paid, and then you have to kind of figure out how they are going to get to go to the doctor, the dentist, get their glasses, whatever it is. It can be quite a mess. So let's talk to someone who's senior in your institution who would know if there are any potential issues with getting paid when it comes to receiving these awards, because you don't want to get the award and then find out about it, which is generally what happens. If you're awarded more money than what your stipend is, then fantastic, but the graduate school or program might have issues with that. If the money that you're awarded doesn't cover the entirety of your stipend, then you need to make sure that they're actually going to top you up so that you make the full amount that you are supposed to be earning. You also need to make sure that if your grant or fellowship runs out whilst you're there, that they are then aware of the end date so that they can then start paying you the full amount again. Now, ask your mentor and other people in the lab what kind of grants and fellowships they think that you ought to apply for. They might just be able to give you a list of them off the top of their head, or you might have to go and do some research. A lot of the universities have a page where they list a number of different funding opportunities. I have a document which you can download on Educated STEM's Patreon page, which includes a couple of links that you can go and find some helpful resources. You can have tools. There's something called profellow.com and Scholarships 360, which might help you point you in the right direction. It might also be beneficial for you to see what a successful grant looks like. And so a number of different places you can actually go and look at them. You can do that on the NSF webpage. You can do that on the for NIH awards and other different funding agencies. So do your homework, figure out what a successful grant or application looks like, where you want to apply for. A lot of the time, you can only have one method of funding at a time. And so just be cognizant of the fact that if you write off to multiple places, and if you are lucky enough to win them all, then you might have to turn around and actually reject some which might not reflect that well on you. So just think about that. Probably apply one at a time, see what happens. Also note if there's a number of times or a limit on the number of times that you can apply for these grants, or if there's the eligibility criteria, if there's an age limit or a time a period in your graduate school experience where you become ineligible. So just know all of that. Once you've decided which grant or fellowship that you are going to apply for, don't be afraid to reach out to the relevant program officer and ask them questions. They can tell you if you are eligible, if your research idea is suitable enough to be considered. They are there to make sure that you're not wasting your time, because they don't want their time or the people who are going to be reviewing the applications time wasted either. So don't be shy, reach out to them, but also, make sure that you're making a good impression on the program manager, because they can definitely help and encourage the committee to consider your application, or maybe not. You never know. I also need you to think about just looking at the requirements. There are so many times where I have seen that a grant or a fellowship hasn't even been reviewed because they didn't stick to the basic formatting requirements. Don't fall into the trap of thinking that you know better, or, if I just make the font ever so slightly smaller, I can cram more stuff into this. Don't do that, because you're going to put all this effort and time into this award to then, have it thrown out because of sloppiness. So no, make sure you know all of the requirements. And even if you think that they're silly, follow them to the letter, because that is what is required. For certain awards, your institution may only be allowed to put one candidate forward. So make sure that you are communicating with the graduate school administration to make sure that if there are other people, that you don't waste your time. If you have been approved or pre-selected to apply, that you are then able to do so. And you're going to be wanting to work with a variety of administrators anyway, because you need to put a budget together. There's going to be certain questions which they can absolutely help you with. Maybe they've got more of a template of wording that you can just kind of cut and paste into various sections. You never know. I used to get asked all the time for the description of the the responsible conduct of research course that I was responsible for. So I actually had just a very short 1 page, maybe slightly more than that, a document. I could just forward that to the student. They could just cut and paste it into the relevant document. They didn't have to do any more work than that. So, don't do more than you have to. There could be pre-existing things out there that you just need to request. There might also be people on campus, and it's their job to help people write grants. So there might be a grant writing department, and maybe you can reach out to them and get them to help you. Just be cognizant that if there are administrators or grant writers who are there and they will be helping you, they're probably helping multiple people. So give them enough time that they aren't rushed, they're not stressed, and they can actually do a good job in helping you, because that's what you want. You want them to take the time to make sure that when you actually hit submit, it's a quality product moving forwards. Also note that some grant offices expect to review the entire document before it is submitted, and that they might say, we want 48 hours or whatever before. So even if your the grant is due, let's say Friday morning, you cannot work on it up until, Thursday night and assume that you can just submit, because you want the grants office to approve it. They might need to kind of give it a special number so that then if it is approved, they've already got it in the system, and it just kind of makes things easier administratively. So know how many days the various people need to process whatever it is before it goes in. And then know the process. So are they submitting it on your behalf? Are you submitting it once they give you the thumbs up and final approval? What actually happens? Because you don't want to fail because you have done something wrong at the last second. And I know that lots of people kind of work until the last second thinking, I'm going to make this even better. This is going to be fantastic. But make sure that you have enough time, because trust me, the day that you want to submit, something is going to go wrong. The amount of times that we've been submitting things and, the upload won't happen. There's a glitch in the internet. You can't log in to whatever the system is because everyone else is currently trying to log in to do the same thing. So if you do it, with a couple of days in advance, the system isn't as busy, so it's going to be a much easier process. Just bear that in mind. So anyway, writing grants and fellowships is a wonderful experience to have. You're going to get better at project management and meeting deadlines and budgeting and all of those good things. And then if you get the award, then that's fabulous. That really shows you in a good light. But again, if you don't get one, it's still a good experience, and I know it's disappointing, but you can just try again. Okay, well, I hope that helps. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and come back for the next video, which is about what happens after your first year of graduate school. Thank you. Bye-bye.